Hi, welcome to day 6. This is the final day of my Overland Track video series. Today is probably the most important video in the whole series. I'm going to talk to you about why I think you should walk an extra 17.5 kilometers from Narcissus Hut and not catch the ferry across Lake St Clare. Let's get straight into it and find out why. If you're walking to Narcissus Hut and catching the ferry, today is a fairly easy 3 to 4 hour walk. The ferry does need to be pre-booked before you start the hike, and it only runs a couple of times a day from about 9 AM until 1 PM. Give yourself plenty of time to get to Narcissus and have a bite to eat, rather than rush and risk an injury on the final day. But I highly recommend not taking the ferry and instead walking the rest of the way to Cynthia Bay. You can do this in a couple of ways. Camp at Narcissus and do a 17-kilometer day tomorrow. Do it my way and just keep walking and finish in a day, which is not the best option in my opinion, and if you've got a shuttle that you're catching at the other end, you'll definitely miss that. Or what I regard as the best option, keep walking another 6 kilometers to Echo Point Hut and camp there on the lake instead. It means a 15-kilometer day today and just over 11 kilometers tomorrow. The walk through the rainforest is some of the best of the whole hike, and the views camping at Echo Point right on the lake are amazing. Now let's start with Narcissus Hut. You know you're close when you finally cross the suspension bridge. It took me just under 2.5 hours to get to Narcissus, but remember, I walked pretty fast. If you intend to sleep in the cabins, you need to bring earplugs. Every person I spoke to complained about snoring and the squeaking of mats as people tossed and turned at night. There's beds for about 18 campers here, and if you're catching the ferry, make sure you call and confirm the ferry is on its way from the radio inside the hut. There's also a couple of tent platforms and access to the lake. Here's a few final tips for you to think about when you're considering hiking the Overland Track. Not using poles, definitely bring gloves, especially in those cooler months. Pack a combination sunscreen moisturizer for your face, neck and ears. The number of burnt people I saw on the track, even in the cool autumn weather, was incredible. Pack it, use it, reapply it. Sleep with your phone in your sleeping bag. This keeps it warmer, which drains the battery less compared to when it's left exposed to the cold in your tent. Also, when you wake up, before you get out of your sleeping bag, put your day's shirt and jumper in the sleeping bag with you for a few minutes. They will be cold, and warming them up while you're still warm makes it far more comfortable to put them on. From Narcissus, it was another 2.5 hours to get to Echo Point Hut. Now, I wouldn't sleep in the hut itself unless the weather turned and it was I had to sleep in there, but to camp on the lake would be spectacular. It's worth noting that there's no ferry pickup service from Echo Point Hut, so once you're there, you could go back to Narcissus, but I recommend that you continue the walk through to Cynthia Bay. It's a really beautiful section of the track. Since I was pushing myself to finish today in the 6 days like I did last time I did the hike, I had a half an hour break here and then I pushed on to Cynthia Bay. If there hasn't been much rain, you get quite a lot of sand available for you to camp out on the lake, and as I said, the view is amazing. I won't lie, the last stretch as you're heading down to Cynthia Bay is a slog, especially if you've hiked all the way from Burt Nichols that morning. But once you start seeing signs for the visitor centre, it definitely gets the heart racing. That first sign is quite a distance away though, so it is a little bit deceiving. The sign for Fergy's paddock told me I was less than 10 minutes from the visitor centre. My plan was to get into the visitor centre, have a nice hot shower, and then come back and set up camp at Fergy's paddock for the night. Seeing that finishing sign at the end of the track definitely brought a lot of emotion to the surface. It was such a journey and I loved it. I can't wait to do it again. Thanks so much for watching this video series. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope it helped you make a decision one way or the other if you were considering hiking the Overland Track. As a little bit of a bonus, next week I will release my mushroom and fungi video special. I really hope you enjoyed this series. If you have any comments, feel free to drop them down below. Any questions, I'm happy to answer as well. If you found the series useful, please share my videos with other people who might be interested in hiking the Overland Track. Thanks again. I hope I've inspired you to go on your own journey outside. Bye for now.